What's up, guys? God, I am really tired. It's midnight. And, I have been saying I was gonna I had been saying I was gonna do a discussion video. My God, I can't speak. I was saying I was gonna do a discussion video for a while now, and I never did it. So this is me doing it. And this is me apologizing for not doing it sooner. So I'm sorry. I guess what I'm going to be discussing today is fear, I guess. I don't know. I was just thinking about this on my way to dinner because my sister is going to be a doctor and we had to go out and celebrate. And I was thinking about this after I'd eaten a full plate of food and I was tired and half falling asleep at the table. So, well, I guess a good way to start this off is telling you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of falling. I'm afraid of planes. I'm maybe sort of kind of just a little bit afraid of elevators. Just a little bit, tiny bit. And I'm afraid of being alone. And I'll explain to you why. I'm afraid of planes. Or not planes, but I don't like flying. I don't like the fact that I'm in a gigantic tin can way the hell above the ground. Like, I don't even know how many feet. I'm very tired and my brain isn't working all that great right now. But it's working just enough to function to be able to talk to you coherently. But yeah, you're in a gigantic metal flying tin can moving very, very fast high up in the sky. And I don't like that. The fact that anything at any time could go wrong and you could be falling out the sky scares everything out of me. And I don't like it. I can't stand it. It makes me very scared. The reason I'm afraid of planes is it ties into the reason I'm afraid of falling. And the reason to be honest, I'm not sure why I'm afraid of falling. It's very strange because I just don't like that feeling. I hate rides that are like they take you up, and then they drop you, man. I hate it. Like the drop of doom in Six Flags, I hate it. It's very scary. Like when they have that the part when they're taking up. Like when I went to Six Flags, I'm sitting there. It's not the height that scares me; it's the drop. It scares me. I hate it. I hate the anticipation. I'm sitting there hyperventilating. Another example: I went to Busch Gardens with my friends and my family, and my friend was on my right side, and this random lady was on my left. She held my hand. She had to hold my hand as we were going down. This is a random person. She's holding my hand. I'm clutching her hand like this. And I'm screaming like a 7-year-old sissy girl. Because I was terrified. And I hate that feeling. And I don't know why. Like the butterflies in my stomach feeling. It makes me very panic-y. It makes me very scared. It makes me... one of the things on my bucket list is to skydive. And I'm doing that on purpose. Purposely knowing I'm afraid of falling. It's a free fall or skydive, whatever it's called. And hopefully that's to get over the fear. That's gonna play a big part into what I'll be talking about later, but we'll get to that when we get to that. What I'm saying is, I just hate the feeling, man. It's very scary to me. Like, I love roller coasters. Roller coasters, are a lot of fun. But, the drops sometimes make me freak out. For a good reason. But it's just it's like a really in the moment thing where I'm literally sitting there thinking, oh my God, I'm like literally screaming, I'm freaking out, and it's a strange feeling. It's hard to explain. I'm not afraid of a lot of things. There's a few things that really make me shaky, and that's from usually. Well, I'll tell you. You guys know from my horror game playlist that I hate pop-up JPEG images and crap. And I don't know why. I think the power of a jump scare is that you don't know. Most of the time you don't know when it's coming. You don't know that something that is very loud, it's just human beings and sudden changes in their environment. You are not ready for anything. You're not ready for any. It's strange. Like when I was playing Slendy Tubbies, it was like 2 seconds, and it made me nervous. I don't know why. I don't know. I think it was the fear of not knowing when the jump scare would come was really screwing with me. The anticipation of when it would come on screen really jacked me up. Another thing that really messes with me, and it's along the same vein of a jump scare, but I call this a silent jump scare. And what it is like, for example, Sonic.exe, where you're after your Knuckles and you chase Sonic left and right. No, that's not that. It's when you're Robotnik and you're running down the stairs and the static comes on, and then that picture of Sonic is just there, and it's there. It doesn't make sound. It's just there. It takes up your entire screen, and you can't do anything about it. You're just sitting there, and it's staring you in the face, and you can't do anything about it. And it's weird. It's just staring at you. There's no sound. There's no nothing. It's just there. And you can't do anything about it. And that terrifies me. Like, if I was sitting here, because I'm here looking at my TV screen, and, like, if I was sitting here talking about that, and then, bam, it just popped up on the screen, that would that would scare me to death. That would really put a number on me. Because it's not screaming at you, it's just there. Like, a game that used to do that a lot is Five Nights at Freddy's. The random boot images, the odds of that happening were so rare that it was almost overlooked. So if you're sitting sometimes in FNAF 1, 2, and then maybe not 2. Either 1, 2, and 3, I think. All of them had it. Where sometimes where you boot the screen, you'd get a picture of like Bonnie with no eyes, and then suddenly there would be eyes, and it would be silent and just staring at you, making no sound, no movement, nothing. And it makes me panic. Like, it's scary, man. You know, I cope better with a regular jump scare that flashes on the screen and screams at you for a few seconds. But when it's just sitting there with no sound, and I use this tactic in my videos all the time. Sonic.exe, I did it. Pikachu.exe games do it a lot. I've come to notice. They rely a lot on jump scares, and they just bam, jump scare, you know. But let's see. Yeah, I did it in. It's usually after a video, and you know, after the outro rolls, and then it's like black for a few seconds, and then it's just there. And it's there for a long time, and an uncomfortably long time. Like, you're sitting there like, oh, when is it gonna end? And you're sitting there waiting, and it just doesn't end. It's really weird. And it scares me. It scares me to death. I hate it. I hate it so much. And I don't know why. So that's planes and silent jump scare. Elevators. This happened from when I was long. I wouldn't say it was too long ago. It was maybe 3 years ago or so. Or me and my mother were watching Superman, and we smelled smoke, and the building was on fire. I live on the G line. Like, my apartment is 5G, and I live on the G line, and 1G all the way downstairs was on fire. And, you know, it wasn't the fire that scared me, because I love fire. I'm a pyromaniac. So, what ended up happening is, we weren't in any danger. Well, barely. We didn't have to leave the building. Like, they cleared everything out. They took everything out. They took out the fire, and it was good. But there's smoke. There's a whole bunch of everything in the hallways. In the elevator. The elevator was acting up. And, obviously, the chances of an elevator falling down the shaft are slim to none. Same thing with planes. Slim to none. But it's just a possibility. Like, most elevators have fail-safe, so if they drop, something catches it. But the first thing that happened that I noticed is that when we got to the floor, like, let's say this is the floor of the elevator and this is the floor of the doorway to the hallway. It would be like this. You'd like step. You'd have to step up or you have to step down, and the elevator was just shaking a lot. And I hated that. That was like imminent evidence of this elevator will drop and I will die. I hate that. That's right up there with falling. It's basically falling, and it's very scary. And I've been stuck in an elevator before, and I was a little, but yeah, screw that. And there's this other time where I was coming home, I think, and I was getting on the elevator, and the elevator had not been working properly, and the elevator wouldn't come, and then eventually it did come, and it goes all the way to the bottom of the shelf. The shaft, and people get off. Either it was like all the way at the bottom of the shaft, or it was way lower than it's supposed to be. Like, people had to climb up to get out, and people were looking at me like, "Do you want to get on that elevator?" Because I was waiting to get on, and they're like, "Are you sure you want to get on that?" And I get on, and I'm like, "Nah, I'm just gonna take the stairs," because I wasn't taking that risk. They were like, "Are you sure you want to get on that elevator?" I was like, no. So I took the stairs. So that was not happening, man. I was scared. The biggest thing I'd say is being alone or abandoned. And this is kind of where it gets serious, because I can't describe the feeling of loneliness. I wouldn't say it's like crippling, but it's very strong. That fear of being alone. Like, when I get alone, like, I'm a person who likes short-term alone time. I eat it up. But long-term alone time makes me depressed. I was off of school. My sister was probably still in college. My sisters were probably still both in college, or they were just doing something. And my mother was at work, and I had off the entire week. And, it was fun at first playing Call of Duty. And as the days went on, as the week went on, I got more and more sad and afraid. It's not like my mother never came back, but it's just I was spending so much time alone that the alone time became unbearable. Like, not even my video games could distract me from the alone time, because it was just too much. It was too much alone time. I couldn't really do anything about it because my mother had to go to work and my sisters just weren't here, and I spend the week with my mother. And I think my dad was working anyway, so he wouldn't have been here anyway. So the days went on, I became more and more sad, and it was just not fun. And then, that's why I appreciate having my family here. Because, I love my alone time, but if I was really alone, that's why I'm a little bit afraid of college. I'm not going to be around my family anymore, I'm going to be on my own. A roommate, but the thing is, just like, if anything happened to them, and I had to be on my own, I probably wouldn't be ready. And I'd be very afraid. Just thrown in a situation like that is so scary. And I feel so bad for kids that have to go through stuff like that, man. There's this commercial, it was this girl, and she lived alone. I think she may have been emancipated or something, I don't remember. But she was living on her own, and she was talking about how she has to do everything for herself. It was just, and at the time, this is an old commercial, and at the time it just hit me so hard, because I was like, I don't think I could ever be in a situation like that. Even now, being alone scares me. I hate it. When I don't see my friends for a long time, I get depressed. It's not a nice feeling. And then again, nobody really wants to be alone. People isolate themselves from people that they don't really want to be alone. Well, I won't say that. I won't generalize, but a lot of the time that's not the case. They don't want to be alone, even though they isolate themselves. And aren't you afraid of like snakes or spiders or death? Here's the thing about death. I'm not afraid of death. I'm not saying that I want to die, but I just like if it's my time, I don't mind. When I'm time to go, it's time to go. If I pass out from playing too many video games tomorrow, God bless me. That is the way it was supposed to be, because I died doing something I love. So, But death is like one of those things that it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. It happens to all of us. You know, as soon as you stop growing, you start dying. Not to be pessimistic about it or anything, I'm just saying. It's gonna happen. So, when it's time, it's time. You know, it sucks when other people die. When I was at my uncle's funeral, you know, I wasn't crying at first, but as it set in, and afterwards, when I had to make I was sitting here editing my video, or not editing my video, I was editing, no, because we got a memorial video from him from the funeral place, and they didn't do it right, like the music wasn't coming on. So I was tasked with making a new one. And I was sitting here, and I was getting all the pictures together, and I was editing, and I broke down into tears. Oh, I was a train wreck. And not only was that, it was a very hard point. There was stuff going on already, but it was like that plus that. It was just I was having it was waterworks in here, man. I was crying my eyes out, and then you know I came to realize not to be afraid and just to let it go, because stuff happens, and I'm okay with that. Another thing I'm afraid of: nuclear fallout. And this is pretty far-fetched. This is one of those slightly irrational fears, but still slightly rational. And it's not because I played Fallout. There's this video Vsauce did, where it was, I think he was talking about if, or it was like Risk or something like that, where he demonstrated what would happen if somebody were to threaten or shoot nuclear weapons at us. And I was just sitting there watching it, like, oh my god, this is horrifying. You know, they would stop all TV. They'd broadcast nuclear weapons are being shot at us from an unknown location. You should seek out and blah 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 blah. You know, that apocalyptic type feel. I hate that. But it's not like I'm not afraid of the zombie apocalypse nearly as much, because that's also apocalypse, like the end of the world, like society falls to pieces. Nuclear fallout, that's like destruction of everything, and that scares the crap out of me, and I don't know why. I do know why. It's a scary thing. It's a bomb wiping everything out, and having to fend off all RPG horror style and all types of things, man. It's scary. And the thing about fears, some fears you kind of just have to face. And it's pretty cliche. I know before, it's so cliche. It's kind of true. I'm sorry. You do have to face your fears too. So that's how I learned how to swim. I used to be terrified of the water, and I am one of the best swimmers in my family now. Second to my dad. He's the way he swims, he's a great swimmer. And like I'm a straight fish, and I swim fast. And I love swimming now. But I remember being drop my mic. Great. I remember being at my summer house in Port St. Lucie, Florida, when I was real little, and I didn't know how to swim yet. And everybody was trying to teach me how to swim, and I was making a scene because I was terrified. And when I let go and I relaxed and I faced my fear, it wasn't as bad. And it's so cliche, I know, but it's the truth. Let's see, what else did I get over? Oh, I was just laughing about this at dinner. So we went out to dinner, and we went to Red Lobster. And when I was little, I used to be terrified of the lobsters they had in those tanks. People would push me towards the tank to try to get me, and I wouldn't. I was like, don't. And I was just so afraid of it. And then one day, I just decided to beat it, go up there. It was cool. Another irrational fear I had: black toilets and automatic toilets. Horrified. The fact that I couldn't see into the toilet bowl, like through the water, like there was something in there that was gonna like snatch me up, terrified me, man. It's just, I remember there's a funeral home that we used to go to, the entire bathroom was black. And that was fine. But the toilet, I could not see down into, I couldn't see what was in there. It made me think like a gigantic hand, like the thing in The Legend of Zelda would come out and like snatch me and steal me away. That and automatic toilets, because I hated how loud those things were. And the fact that I couldn't control it, that it would do it by itself, and it was just like, it was out of my control. Obviously, this is all when I was really little. But it was out of my control, and I hated it, and it was loud, and it was scary, and I hated it. It's horrible. But I'd say my biggest fears: abandonment or being alone, planes, not so much elevators, and silent jump scares. Those three. So, yeah, my nugget to you is just, for some, you know, some things are really up there. I won't compare flying in a plane to like PTSD or something like that, or anxiety. A lot of things, a lot of fears can be beaten with just conquering them, going up and facing it. And then when you find out that it's not so bad, or it could be done, it's not so bad anymore. And you're not afraid. And one thing I see a lot in people is fear of the unknown. And I feel like that's something we all fear. Not knowing what's gonna happen. Like, why are things scary? That's another thing. I'll link a video that Vsauce did called Why Are Things Scary? Because, you know, he says there's three types of scary. There's horror, terror, and something else. And there's like the gross out, there's the creeps, and there's like genuine like fear. The weird thing, the thing that gets us, I feel like the most, that we're most exposed to, is the creeps. Like creepypastas use this a lot, where they say, you know, a person who watched this video or played this game or saw this or did that committed suicide like 2 days later. And, you know, you think to yourself, that can't really happen, right? But you don't know. Well, you know, realistically. But, you know, sometimes your brain considers it, and you're like, could that really happen? Well-written creepypastas give me the creeps. You know, I used to be really afraid of, like, Smile Dog, because the picture was just... the picture for Sonic.exe, the I Am God picture, used to scare me a lot, and I got over that. And the Smile Dog one actually gave me nightmares. But other than that, a lot of even super macabre stuff, like gore, all types of stuff, it doesn't really shake me up. If anything, gore just makes me sad. But a lot of stuff just bounces right off, and it doesn't scare me. But it's more psychological stuff. I'm pretty immune to a lot of fear, but, you know, other stuff gets me. A lot of things you can just solve by facing your fear. Once you find out it's not too bad, you move on to the next one. You keep moving up from there. And then bam, you've got no more fears. Yeah, that's it. So I'll link those videos in the description if you'd like to check them out. Thank you for being here for this first discussion in a while. I don't know when this video is going up, probably sometime early. It's 12:30 now, so I gotta edit, and then I'll post, and then I gotta make the thumbnail, so it'll probably be 1 or 2 by the time this video goes up, so you'll see it in the morning. And I probably will be live streaming this weekend. I will be live streaming Minecraft. I will post on the Facebook. Everybody, go like the Facebook page, because that's a good way to see it, bam, straight in your feed. So, and now like that, you'll get updates for when I'm streaming directly, and all sorts of fun stuff like that. And I'll be posting pictures and boo and all sorts of nice stuff. So, either today or tomorrow, I will post when I will, and then we'll take it from there. So, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for being so awesome. And go face your fears. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Peace out, y'all.